just gossip. I spent that night in a friend's garage. No heat. No mattress. Just cold concrete and a single blanket. That's when I decided I wouldn't chase sympathy. I'd chase success. Quietly. Without a word to them. Without warning. Without letting anyone know what I was about to build. The next morning, I woke up with a stiff neck, numb fingers, and fire in my chest. Not the painful kind, the angry kind. I stared at the cracked ceiling above me, and I swore they threw me out like trash. I'll come back as gold. I didn't have a plan, but I had something stronger, a reason. I took my old, slow laptop and searched for jobs, anything I could do online. Freelance gigs. Virtual assistant work. Data entry. Copywriting. I applied to 57 jobs that day. Got rejected by 53. But 4 replies came in. 4 small yes. And that's all I needed. I turned Mia's garage into my battlefield. No distractions. No noise. Just long nights, coffee-stained notebooks, and the sound of my fingers typing nonstop. I worked every day, no weekends, no breaks. When friends asked to hang out, I lied. I'm busy with family. I didn't want them to know. I had none. My life was now a secret. And so was my hustle. Every dollar I made, I saved. I lived off instant noodles, reused candles for light when the garage electricity failed, and turned pain into fuel. 3 months later, I bought a second-hand desktop and a proper chair. 6 months later, I had 10 clients across 3 countries. By the 8th month, I wasn't just working, I was outsourcing. I had hired 2 other freelancers under my name. I had built a micro-agency, quietly. I didn't even tell Mia, though the garage I worked from was hers. I knew people only respected what they see, not what they hear about. One night, I got a message from a luxury brand's marketing manager. Your copy style caught our eye. Are you available for long-term collaboration? I blinked at the message. Then blinked again. The email signature had the word billion-dollar brand in it. They didn't care where I lived. They just wanted my brain. My skill. My fire. That night, I didn't cry, I grinned. My fingers trembled as I typed my reply. Yes. I'm available. Let's talk. I never looked back after that. The girl who was thrown out with a suitcase had just secured a 5-figure contract. But the best part? My family still had no idea who I had become. And they were about to find out. In the most unforgettable way, exactly 1 year after they threw me out, I got an unexpected message from my dad. No apology. No explanation. Just, your cousin Mia is getting married. Come to the family dinner. Everyone will be there. I stared at the screen, stunned. It was like they forgot they had tossed me out like garbage. Or maybe, they assumed I had failed, and wanted to rub it in. I didn't respond right away. I just sat there, remembering that night. The shouting. The shame. The way they looked at me like I was worthless. But something inside me whispered, go. Show them what silence built. So I replied, sure. I'll be there. But this time, I wasn't coming as their broken daughter. I was coming as Eliana, the CEO. In the week leading up to the dinner, I made a few quiet moves. I upgraded my wardrobe, sleek black dress, designer heels, and a custom diamond bracelet. Nothing too flashy. Just enough for them to feel the weight of regret without me saying a word. I also called my personal driver and booked a luxury black SUV. No Uber. No buses. No walking up with my head down. I wanted every step I took to scream, you messed with the wrong girl. The night of the dinner arrived. The moment I stepped out of the SUV, the entire backyard turned quiet. Cousins froze mid-laugh. Aunts dropped their forks. Even my dad, who once yelled that he hated everything about me, just stared. My mom walked over, lips tight. Eliana, you look different. I smiled softly. I've grown. She tried to hug me. I stepped back slightly. Let's just eat. They had set up this grand dinner table, fairy lights, gold napkins, everything looked expensive. Except the tension. That was free and heavy. Mia came running up, squealing fake joy. You came? I wasn't sure you'd show after, you. No, I raised an eyebrow. After being thrown out? She laughed awkwardly. Well, water under the bridge, right? I just smiled. You have no idea what's coming, I thought. Dinner started. Everyone was catching up, talking about promotions, marriages, new cars, acting like they lived in some perfect world. And then Dad stood up and cleared his throat. We just want to say how proud we are of Mia. She's the first in the family to marry into real money. Everyone clapped. I didn't. Then Mia's fiancé stood up and said something that made my stomach twist. I'm so excited to join this family. And I hear you're all doing great. Except Eliana, no one really knows what she's up to. Laughter broke around the table. Loud, ugly, smug. My mom chuckled. Eliana's always been the quiet one. She probably works at a cafe now or something. Nothing serious. My chest tightened, but I kept smiling. This was it. This was the moment I had been waiting for. I picked up my wine glass, stood slowly, and tapped the side gently. Actually, I said, my voice calm, but sharp enough to cut through the noise, you've all been talking a lot about me tonight. So let me tell you what I've been up to. The air shifted. The laughter stopped. And just like that, they were listening. I looked around the table slowly, letting the silence stretch just long enough to make them uncomfortable. Everyone's eyes were on me now, curious, confused, maybe even a little nervous. Good. I placed my glass back down and straightened my back. When I left this house with just a bag of clothes and no support, I didn't beg anyone for help. I didn't crash on couches or chase sympathy. I built something. Quietly. While all of you were too busy laughing at me. A couple of my uncles exchanged awkward glances. Mia's smile had completely vanished. My mother suddenly looked down at her plate, but I didn't stop. I started freelancing in a garage with no heater, no bed, and barely enough light to see my keyboard. I worked 18-hour days while all of you were whispering about how I'd probably fail and come crawling back. Dad opened his mouth to say something, but I raised my hand slightly, stopping him without even looking at him. Today, I own a content agency that operates across 3 continents. My clients include billion-dollar brands, yes, the same ones. You probably post selfies with their logos just to look cool. Someone gasped. Mia muttered something under her breath. But I wasn't done. I earn more in a week than most of you make in 6 months. I employ people. I lead meetings. I own 100% of my business, and guess what? I even bought the garage I started in, just so no one could ever throw me out again. The table went completely still. It was like I had sucked the oxygen out of the air. Then I smiled, not out of arrogance, but from finally letting it all out. So no, I don't work at a cafe. But I do own the digital rights to the cafe chain you posted on Instagram last week, Aunt Carla. Maybe you should check who approved the ad campaign. Carla blinked in disbelief. My cousin Matt stifled a laugh. Even Mia's fiancé turned to her, clearly shocked. My dad finally spoke, voice quieter than I'd ever heard it. Why didn't you tell us, Eliana? I looked at him, really. Looked at him. The man who once said he hated everything about me. Because I didn't need your validation. And because success tastes better when the people who doubted you are forced to swallow it. You could hear a pin drop. The entire table sat in stunned silence, their fake smiles replaced with open mouths and wide eyes. No one clapped. No one said a word. They couldn't. I had taken back every ounce of power they'd stolen from me, and I did it with words. Then I reached into my purse, pulled out a small gold envelope, and placed it gently in front of Mia. Here's my wedding gift. It's not cash. Just a little note. She opened it with trembling hands. Inside was a simple line, "This dinner is the last time you'll ever get to laugh at me." I picked up my bag, nodded once to the entire table, and walked out. Not with anger. Not with regret. But with the kind of peace you only get when you've already won. As I stepped outside into the cool night air, a strange calm settled over me. The same house that once felt like a prison now looked small, too small for someone like me. The fairy lights behind me flickered gently, but I didn't turn back. I didn't need to. They had seen everything. The real me. Not the girl they threw out. The woman they could never control again. Just as I reached the gate, I heard footsteps behind me. I didn't stop walking. Eliana, wait. It was Mia. Her voice wasn't full of anger this time. It was shaky, like she didn't know whether to beg or blame. I paused but didn't turn around. She caught up, heels clicking awkwardly on the pavement. Look. I didn't mean to laugh earlier. No one knew you were doing all that. We thought you were just gone. I turned slightly, enough for her to see the truth in my eyes. You didn't think, Mia. You decided. You all decided I was a failure before I even had a chance. And now you want to talk just because I proved you wrong? She swallowed hard. I just didn't think you'd go that far. I mean, owning an agency? Working with billion-dollar brands? Who even does that? I stared at her. Someone who had nothing left to lose. She didn't say anything after that. Just stood there, blinking fast, holding that gold envelope like it might burn her fingers. I walked away, got into the SUV, and told my driver, take me home. And when I said home, I meant my home. Not their house. Not their cold walls. Not their fake smiles. My penthouse apartment in the city, glass windows, skyline views, and a living room that could fit their entire backyard dinner setup. When I got back, I kicked off my heels, poured myself a glass of wine, and opened my laptop. Dozens of client emails. Brand offers. Team updates. Then came a notification. A message from my dad. I was wrong. We all were. I'm sorry. Come. Visit sometime, if you want. I